Well, aloha kakahiaka, and welcome everyone. I'm Peter Kay. This is the pre-game show of the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. This is June 25th, 2021. And if it's not June 25th, 2021 at 9 o'clock at 8:55 in the morning Hawaii time for you, you are listening to the pre-recorded version, so you can scroll forward about 5 minutes or so to get into the live show, or you can hang out with us right now with everybody else. We already have 8 people who are here. Joan Valentine. Joan, welcome back, Joan. We love you. Joan is part of the early bird show here. So anyway, how's it going, guys? Dylan, Scott, we got Dylan Nonaka from the Big Island. We got Scott Startzman from Oahu. Heidi Dellinger, our other guest from our other co-host from Maui, is not here today. She's off somewhere. She's off somewhere wild and exotic. That's all we can tell you. I can't, tell you. Hey, Charles, welcome back from Charles from Mililani. Welcome, Charles from Mililani. Awesome. All right, so let's see, Dylan, what's going on? Let's give us a mic check, Dylan. What's going on the Big Island? What's the taro leaves on the Hawaiian shirt? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, just the Sig Zane, same Big Island design. Repping the Big Island. Got the kalo leaves on there. It's another beautiful day over here. It has been raining like every single day in the afternoons, and
really, no kidding.
Yeah, well, I think we've talked about this in the past, but the old timers say that in the 70s, pre-volcano and VOG, it used to be like this, and so there is a little bit of science behind the VOG would reduce the amount of sunlight hitting the surface of the earth, and then it would reduce evaporation, so there was less moisture in the air. But yeah, it's been really, really rainy. I just had some folks that I sold the house to that said, "I thought you told us this was the dry side." This past week. So I said, it is, I promise. It's worse on the other side. But it's good. I mean, the grass is green. Everything's beautiful. It can get dry on the west side when we don't have rain. But the downside to that is I got to cut my grass like every single week. So it's an additional part-time job that I have is cutting my grass.
As if you didn't need another part-time, as if you needed another part-time unpaid job.
It is my favorite part of the week because it's totally brainless. I can put in an audiobook or a podcast in my ears and then just cut the grass and weed whack. And it actually is a very relaxing part of my week. So I enjoy it.
Well, Auntie Joyce is chiming in and hoping that we're going to bring some sunshine to your side. Auntie Joyce, welcome back. Great to see you again. We're going to definitely be doing the best that we can. Sunshine is also, if it's a state of mind, the sun is beaming. Scott, what's going on, buddy? How's your side of the island versus my side of the island? What's going on?
Oh, it's beautiful. If you can see Diamond Head in the background, if you go back some episodes, it was super green. We got a lot of rain this winter, so Diamond Head was all green. Now we're moving into the summer months, and it's starting to brown out now. So that happens every year. But everything's, man, I've had so many changes going on. I finally finished that project about 2 weeks ago, closed out the permits, got the new website up and running. I'm changing companies today. So a lot of changes, a lot of things going on in the background. But to echo what Dylan was saying, I mean, that's part of what I've enjoyed doing is putting the earbuds in, getting out in the yard, doing some mindless work, listening to some tunes is totally relaxing, especially when you get your hands in the soil and stuff. It's nice that's my downtime lately, has been working in the yard at the project and stuff.
That's interesting. So you guys started this downtime talk. So let's riff on downtime. So first of all, Robert, aloha from Davis, California. Sunny here, but no beach. Love you, Robert. Glad you're with us, man. Get into the beach, man. I had a phenomenal. Actually, I had one of these classic days. I went to Makapu'u on Wednesday, and it was so great. It was so perfect. And I was the only guy in the entire. It was one of these classic moments, right? I was the only guy in the water, right? And there was one other person. There was a girl on the beach, and that was it. Two people. And I walked out, and there was a local guy who was coming out. He had a drone he was playing with, and we started talking. He goes, "Man, you were there. You're the only guy in." I'm like, "Yeah, classic moment. I had the whole beach to myself." But anyway, hey, so you guys talk about downtime, right? So okay, so I'm thinking about what's my downtime. Well, first of all, physical labor, grass cutting, not on my radar, ever, won't do it. Not my thing, will not. So but I do have a down. So my two downtimes is, I would say one thing is I've gotten into cooking. For some reason, COVID, with COVID, I've gotten into cooking, dishes and foods that I like. Homemade caramel sauce is my favorite dish of all. That's my favorite. Homemade caramel sauce is like the bomb. And then the other thing I do is I play video games. I'm an avid gamer. I'm a crazy avid gamer. Multiplayer, either kind of first person shooter kind of games, or racing simulation games, or flying simulation games. Those are my two. That's my downtime. That's how I because my day is entirely mental. It's 100% mental, right? So I need something else, and yard work doesn't do it.
Well, and that's a part of what I love about the projects when I'm working it. I'll go out and do construction with the guys for a day or two, and it's just a total shift. And for me, like part of my downtime, I go probably 3 days a week down to the Elks Lodge and get in the steam room and the sauna and just kind of veg out, decompress, and then come home and just kind of try not to do anything. It's a lot of mental work and a lot of energy output. I got to be able to come back to center to be able to the next morning wake up, give that energy that the clients need and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, it's 9 o'clock. Let's get this party started over here. So let's roll into and Jim is with us. Jim, welcome back, buddy. Aloha kakahiaka. Great to see you back, Jim. Welcome back. Scott, I didn't get the wave. Hold on a second. Let's get the wave. Scott gave a wave. There you go. There you go. Give the wave. Excellent. Okay. So, and then, online jigsaw puzzles. Okay. That's an interesting one. My, Auntie Joyce, my wife is into puzzles. The real puzzles. You put a big, 500-piece puzzle on the table, and, it'll kind of sit there and will kind of, build itself up over the course of a week. Great stuff. Okay. Let us roll over here. We're going to do it this way. Okay, so let's get into the updates. So folks, hey, get this, man. Vaxxers are going to be celebrating freedom. I don't know why they didn't do it on July 4th. It would have been more fun. But anyway, the governor of Hawaii, Governor Ige, just announced yesterday, in fact, that Hawaii will lift quarantine and pre-existing travel testing requirements for domestic travelers from the mainland who can show proof of receiving a COVID-19 vaccination early next month. So, somewhat needless to say, that's big news. So from what it's saying, if here's yet another motivation to be vaccinated, if you can show proof of vaccination, you get to skip quarantine and testing, which is great. They've also done a couple of other things. They're lifting restrictions. We're going to go, social gatherings from outdoors can go to 75 people without having to have restrictions. Restaurants will be able to operate at 75% capacity, but we still have to wear masks. We still have to wear masks for indoor gatherings. So I will take it. It is great news. It's a big deal. There's also more stuff that's going on about dropping COVID restrictions. So there's also a lot of talk. Nothing's been put in stone, but there is some sort of signaling that if the case counts keep dropping, previously that the governor had a thing where he said, hey, if we get to 70% vaccination, we're going to drop all restrictions. It seems like those last few percentages, I think we're at like 56% right now, something like that, with people who have got both vaccinations, and their finding is just kind of falling off the cliff. No one's, people aren't going for the 80% have been vaccinated with the first vaccination, but out of those 80%, not a small percentage, not small, but a lot of those people aren't going for the second one. Anyway, looks like we're not going to hit that 70% vaccination rate anytime soon. But if the case counts keep dropping, there is some signaling that we're going to be dropping some restrictions. Looks like the travel industry is coming back to normal. Some things I'm hitting is the stakes from earlier this week. There was a story. The stake 2-week average. Wait, let me see here. What am I saying here? Okay. In the last week, an average of 36,000 people traveled into and throughout the islands per day. That's compared to an average of 34,000 for the month of June in 2019. So it looks like, at least for that period that they tested, we've surpassed pre-COVID levels, which to me is a little bit surprising. I didn't think it was going to bounce back that quickly. But my wife gave me some good reasons why. For example, it's kind of hard to travel to foreign countries right now. Hawaii is still the best place on earth. Why not Hawaii? And then finally, we had a Russian thing. Yeah, we had Russians. So apparently, which is, part of it's a little bit scary. There was a Russian Navy operation that came. There were some Russian ships that came within 20 to 30 nautical miles off Hawaii, and they scrambled F-22s loaded with weapons and bombs to kind of check out the situation. We've also brought a U.S. carrier strike group move closer to Hawaii. So we've got real. We had a Russian incident. How do you like that? Anyway, that's the news, folks. Let's get back to our friends over here. I'm back here with my good friends, with Dylan Nonaka from the Big Island, and we got Scott Startzman who's on Oahu. What news? Let's say first of all to a bunch of friends who have jumped in since I started the news thing. So we have Chris. I'm going to skip on. It's Chris. I'm Greek and I could take my time, but I got to figure that one out. So aloha from Ontario, Canada. By the way, dude, is that a Hellcat? Is that a Hellcat Charger for your profile? Blue Hellcat Charger. Fill me in on the model of that car there, dude. I'm a car guy. Aloha from Ontario, Canada. Jim David. Kona Magic Sands. Yes, I'm here and met with Dylan. Dylan, Jim is here. I hope you had a good time. Jim, I hope you're having a good time. Yeah, Jim, I do agree. Dylan does have a cool Aloha shirt on. Let's do a zoom in on that. Yeah, there he is, man. And that hanging out. Dylan, I was gonna say, dude, have you started to price the value of your Zig Zane collection? They're going for like $100 to $200 a piece now. You must have like thousands of dollars of Zig Zane shirts now, I would think.
It's significant. I'm pretty sure it's significant.
Listen, you got this. Go ahead.
I'll tell you a story of how significant the price is. I actually had my brother-in-law got married a couple weekends ago, and we went to the hotel, and I brought one of these shirts to wear at the wedding, and then I forgot it in the closet. Right, we packed the whole room up and then left, and then on the way home we realized we forgot the shirt, so we called the hotel and housekeeping to see if they found it because we could come back and pick it up, or we had some friends that were still there. Nobody seen it. Magically, nobody see the shirt. So somebody took my shirt home from the hotel.
It's like gold, man. It's almost as it's almost as valuable as lumber.
Should have just left a $100 bill in the room. They guaranteed they wouldn't have found that either. So.
Oh man, that's hilarious. That's a great one. Yeah. So anyway, so to Jim's point, yes, Dylan does have a cool Aloha shirt on. Dylan. Who would have thought that you are the trendsetter with style on our show?
All credit goes to my wife. I have not bought a single one of these myself. So
there you go, man. There you go. Give credit to your wife. Go ahead, Scott.
The bar is set pretty low on that with the other two people on this broadcast.
That's what I'm saying, man. Who would have thought, that Dylan is the trendsetter? Hey, Neil, aloha from Silicon Valley. Neil, when's the date, man? When you coming out, buddy? How's things going over there? And Tom, welcome back, Tom. Tom, you sent me a question. I'm going to see if I could dig that question up on the slide and have it ready for you. If you feel like asking it, go ahead and kind of repost that question. I'll try to bring up the slide. And Joan, coming in August. All right, it's right around the corner. Joan, are you going to be going to Oahu? You're going to be going to Maui? Going to be going to Big Island? Where are you going to be going? Meet up with one of us. Zaggy, great pleasure to see ya. If you want to tell me what are prices of houses in Hawaii, yeah, all over the place, man. Median price, Zaggy went $1 million. There's a quick answer, but we'll get more into that. We'll roll back. Joyce, sadly, the anti-vaxxers will never get shocks. Could be impossible to get it could very well be impossible to get our percentages up. And and that's, some people want to get vaccinated, some people don't, and that's the way it is. The only thing I've got is I was just not too happy about the governor tying the release of restrictions to vaccination rates. That's the part I have a problem with, right? It's like, hey, you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine, but then don't hold back the entire society because, a bunch of people, for whatever reason, don't want to get vaccinated. So anyway, don't want to get too political, right, Dylan? Most are coming back from the mainland. International travel still not back yet. Yeah, I think that's it, Zell. I mean, that's my thought, right? It's like more people are coming to Hawaii because it's still the best place on earth. Sarah, welcome. Aloha from Cape Cod. And she's got her vaccinated profile on. Well done there, Sarah. Aloha from Cape Cod. Sarah, Cape Cod, a great place. I have good childhood memories there. My parents used to take us there for the summers a long time ago. Pam Musso, aloha from Denver. We got all kinds of people coming in today. This is great. And Jan from Oregon. Yeah, hey, folks, give us a shout out from where you're from. This is always fun. Jan Prunk, aloha from Oregon. Love the hibiscus. Now, I've got a couple of those in my backyard. Christopher, welcome back, Christopher. Hope you happy Aloha Friday. All happy to you. Neil's coming in October. All right, buddy. Neil, October's a good month. Chris has never bought a shirt either. I buy them all. Exactly. God, you guys are lucky. My wife wants to buy me stuff, but I don't want her to buy me stuff because I don't want to have to want to have to wear it. Where's Heidi? Yeah, Robert, good question. Heidi is out today. She's not with us. She has missed, she is loved, but she is not going to be here with us today. And she will be with us at the next show. Have prices gone up since the pandemic? Price of lumber and supplies have more than tripled. Yeah, Chris, we're going to talk about in a while. Prices are going like bonkers, bananas, all kinds of bonkers and banana stuff. Stay tuned, Chris, for the real estate marketplace. Hey, Tom, welcome back, Tom Main. Welcome back, Tom. This is great. Steve Boyer, aloha from Utah. Welcome, Steve. Great to see you guys. This is awesome. Spencer moved from New York to Tacoma 7 days ago. Awesome. Well, Spencer, I don't know if you found a place to live or not, but you got to connect with Dylan, man. Dylan is Ohana in there. Okay, so Tom that's the question. Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll come back to that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then Kevin Korchinski, aloha from Auburn, California, will be in Maui soon. My mom is full-time there. Awesome. Kevin, I don't know if this is your first time here or not, but Heidi Dollinger is from Maui. She's not here today, but
I've been working with Kevin.
Oh, awesome. Yep. Awesome. Great. Cool. So we just got through with the news segment, guys. Anything that interesting, newsworthy? We got a special segment coming up about real estate. Anything newsworthy you want to share, Dylan? And then Scott?
Yeah, I can just confirm that the visitor numbers are definitely back up, because everywhere you go, you can't get into a restaurant. It's totally packed. The traffic is totally back. It's definitely feels exactly like it did 18 months ago. So people are back, no doubt. And we still don't have any rent-a-cars. My third car has been booked solid for like a month and a half now by my friends.
You're doing the Turo thing, right?
Yeah, not on Turo, just my friends. I haven't got it on Turo yet. Yeah, just because friends and clients who coming in and need a car. I had one friend really cool from Iraq that I hadn't seen in 20 years that was doing a vacation here. And so I got to let him use the car, and then a couple of others. So,
man, Dylan, you've got Zig Zane shirts worth the thousands. You've got you got beater cars that are worth thousands. I mean, this is it's kind of like money's coming out of your ears, just like holding on to the assets that you've got.
The only reason we kept it is because the dealership told me they wouldn't give me any money for it if I traded it in. So it's much more valuable to the friends than to the dealership.
That's hilarious. I mean, yeah, man, that is hilarious. That's
another interesting thing is, if you're coming here, bring a car, because there are no cars. I mean, even in the dealerships, you can't even buy them. Like the Toyota dealership, empty. The Honda dealership is empty. It's kind of eerie when you drive past and you see the parking lot just totally empty. And there's some resales, some used cars that they're selling, but new inventory of those brands. You can still get a Kia, I think, or maybe a Hyundai, but the popular brands, the Dodge dealership, probably half empty. So very few cars, even just to purchase here on the island. And that what I'm told is from, there's a chip that you need for the fob to open. Shortage. So I think really that's what's holding up shipment of these cars, is the cars are manufactured sitting in the mainland somewhere, but they won't ship them because that there's a chip shortage.
The key fob chip.
For the key fobs.
I didn't know it was a key fob chip. I knew there was a chip shortage. I just kept seeing chip shortage. Yep. That's a really good angle. It's like, normally we kind of tell people, hey, you have to kind of think about if it's worth it to bring your car here or not. But now it's like, yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
You ship it for vacation and then ship it back when you're done. It's still cheaper.
It'll be cheaper, yes.
I mean, it's insane.
That's so crazy.
Fact, I got a call from someone on the Big Island saying they were coming over here for a doctor's appointment, and they couldn't schedule an Uber. They weren't going to be able to get a rental car or anything. So I picked them up from the airport, dropped them off at the hospital for the appointment, then picked them back up, took them back to the airport when they were done, because they can't get around. Even the Ubers are all booked up and things.
Yeah, we're in this really weird place right now, right? Where everyone's here, but the businesses, because they weren't able to plan effectively, can't kind of bring back their inventory. The cars, all the rental cars were sold, and they can't be bought back because the chip shortage this and chip shortage that. People aren't going back to work because they're still collecting checks, and they have, they're kind of rethinking their lives. They're like, what? Now that I think I'm going to be a real estate agent and not a restaurant server, right?
Well, what happens when we open the state up mostly without having to do the pre-test? Are we going to get busier? More people here? Is there more demand out there than what we're even seeing now?
Good question. Good question. We're going to find out, but it's definitely crazy. So yeah, I never thought about that. Bring the car over.
A a good illustration is I got a friend that told me that I think he's got 3 or 4 Jeeps he's bought that he's on Turo, and he's like, I'm 1 Jeep away from retirement, is what he told me. That was a great line.
I mean, you know, when you can rent a car for $300 to $500 a day, you know, I saw that. So I say, you know, God bless him. That's what I got to say. God bless. I wish I wouldn't have sold my car that I sold but that was 5 years ago. So that, who knows about that? All right. So Scott, anything news wise on Oahu that you want to kind of share or report on?
No, I mean, the big news is what we were just talking about. In fact, I was going to try to go over to the Four Seasons on the Big Island just for like a quick weekend, and there's no rental car. And the other thing I was concerned about is like, well, Hualalai and Four Seasons is very, you know, there's no other restaurants other than what's right there within the Four Seasons. So if I go over there and the place is packed, can I even get food? Can I get into a restaurant while I'm staying there? You know, I scrapped that idea. That just didn't, but that's the big news. My parents are coming in August. We've already kind of got everything laid out. So I'm happy to see the vaccination component so they can come over with these. I haven't seen them for a while because they're in North Carolina. So
yeah, and if they're vaccinated, they're going to be in good shape. So that's really fantastic. Yeah, for Father's Day, we were going to go out to a restaurant. That, you know what, forget it. We just did the Costco run, and you know, I'm into cooking now. So I for Father's Day I cooked. So that was great. That's what we do as Father's Day. All right. We have a few comments before we go into our topic over here. Kevin, confirm. I'm still trying to buy something on the bill with Dylan's help, but being very patient. Yeah, Dylan, Kevin, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Go ahead, Dylan.
I was gonna, Kevin. I got an off-market listing that I was thinking about. I just found out about this afternoon. I was gonna hit you up, so stand by. Email coming.
Off-market listing, quick. All right, man. Well, you want to be. This is why you want to be in the Ohana, man. This is what it's all about, folks. Because you know you get that special kind of treatment. Ricardo, we're gonna hit your question in a quick sec. The 1 to 2 acres in Wailua. Joan Valentine, Oahu. I was wondering if that lady from Colorado Springs that said there were a couple of times recently can recommend a good place to stay for a single person. Joan, good place to stay for a single person on Oahu, it's called Waikiki. I mean, you've got that's the best place on earth, and I'm sure there's going to be inventory there. So I would look for a hotel in Waikiki. I don't know if you're going to stay for a long term, if you want to stay for like a month or whatever. Start out with an Airbnb. That's my quick thing. And Charles did the old U-Haul van. We rented a U-Haul van for a week, right around $300. Yeah, there was an article about that. There's tourists driving around U-Haul vans. Granted, I actually needed it for moving process, but it's still possible to rent them for people on vacation. Yeah, Charles, that's been going on. But the U-Haul folks are not dumb either, so they're jacking up their rates to $300 a day. So you scored, dude. You totally scored. Hey, Scott, you got it. Spencer will take you. He'll drive you to Four Seasons. So there you go.
Can I get a ride to restaurants too outside of the property?
And what about food? Do you have food? Do you have food stores? All right, great, excellent. Okay, so folks, here's what we did. We're going to put together. We got a treat for you guys today. So those of you that are here live with us, you are in for a little bit of a treat because we got a special episode for the real estate market. Normally at this time, we kind of go into the real estate market sort of details, the prices, how everything's crazy and things of that nature. But this time, we're going to do it. We got a topic that we want to cover and almost got covered here. Annette from Philadelphia a while ago said, "Hey, why are prices rising? The economy's not so hot. Who's buying? Is it still affordable?" And both Dylan and Scott they mentioned to me last week that this is like we think there's a lot of people who are now being discouraged, that they're like walking away, that they're saying, forget it, I'm just going to wait because the market is too crazy. I'm going to wait until it cools down, or how do I get into this thing? It's just like Kevin said, right? Kevin here is being very, very patient, right? So I thought, hey, why don't we kind of have let's talk about how to kind of survive, so to speak, or how to thrive, or how to do best in today's market. So I kind of want to get a conversation with Scott and Dylan, and like, guys, what do we want to share with people, and what should we be doing? Should they, the obvious, wait or go now, or if I do decide, what do I need to do? How do you survive? What's sort of the advice that we would want to give to people to make it through today's kind of crazy market? Dylan, why don't we start with you, and then we'll kind of get into a conversation.
Well, I think we've talked several times in the past about our thoughts about the market, and waiting for it to cool down. And everybody, I remember a year ago during COVID was saying, hey, market's going to crash. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till next year. Market's going to crash. And how'd that work out? Right. Is the question today. And so going forward, we don't definitely believe that there's going to be, if there's a cool down, that may be a slowdown in how hot it is right now, but it's not going to be a downturn, right? Where prices dramatically fall or something crazy happens. And because there's so many fundamental things in the market right now that are not similar to 2007 and 2008. And so there's some experts saying this could go on for 5 years, what we're seeing right now, because of the lack of, one of the big drivers is nationally, we've been in the last 10 years building lower than average the number of homes that we normally build in America. So we're not replacing or adding to the inventory. And you have the demographic tectonic plates that are hitting each other right now, right? You have the millennials who are coming into the home buying market strongly right now, biggest segment right now, who are buying homes. And then you have baby boomers who are living longer, staying healthier longer, and staying in their homes. And so you have a huge increase of demand, and there is no supply. And we've been actually short on supply for the last 10 years. We've never caught up ever since the last downturn. Builders have not caught up to building homes at the same rate they had been the prior 50 years. So the constraint in inventory is not going to go away, right? We were talking about before the show, we all have properties that we could sell right now for a huge profit from what we bought them for. But what are we going to do if we do that, right? That's the seller's question is, if I do sell, where do I go? Even if I want to upsize or downsize, it's a uncertain time where if I sell and I make a big profit, do I have something I want to buy? And there's a big disincentive right now for sellers.
So let's get Scott into this. So Scott, so Dylan's made a couple of really important points about market fundamentals. I think that what really kind of stuck out to me, Dylan, what you said is that, there may be a cool down, but there's not forecast to be a downturn. Scott, what do you want to add to what's been going on so far?
Well, when it comes to hesitation for people, people are going to be asking the question, should I buy now? Because they see, price here on Oahu is up 22%. Our median home price is $978,000. We're getting ready to hit $1 million prior to the median price prior to the end of the summertime. And so rightfully, buying a home is a big purchase. It's a high involvement, it's a process, not an event. It takes time, planning. And in doing so, when you have something where we have an accelerating market and you don't have a whole lot of time to be able to process that home and make a decision, you're having to go 50, 75,000, 100,000 over asking price in some situations. Rightfully so, it's going to create some hesitation. It's going to be like, man, do I really want to get into this? Is this sustainable? Is this going to last? And if you focus solely on prices, you're probably, what are prices going to do, and are they going to come down? You're probably going to get stuck and not make a move. There's other things. That's a part of what our job is. It's why are we buying the home? What is the purpose? What are we doing? And how long are we going to be here? And then we can base the strategy around that. And there's some people that, no, you shouldn't. You want to do a flip in this market. That's always risky. It's hard to find those deals, but or if someone's here, say, oh, I'm going to be here 1 year, 2 years, and then sell. Okay, your risk component's higher. You have to weigh that out, but there's even ways to balance that out. So I feel like we're outside of the norm of what you would normally do in the buying process. And in doing so, it becomes way more stressful for people. So naturally, there's a hesitation that happens. And the question is, should you be hesitating?
Hold on to that, because there's a lot of background noise. There's someone flying around or a lawnmower or whatever. But we'll get back. I want you to come back and repeat that, Scott. So what you said, I don't want to miss what you said. I just want to wait till the thing to go on. Dylan, you had a kind of on the issue. Let's kind of tackle this sort of wait till it cools down kind of thing. There was a slide that you've got over here that you were kind enough to kind of bring over here. It's like, if there's not going to be a downturn, what do you want to wait? And so this pretty much illustrates, right, the cost of waiting, right? And that's one thing that you have to evaluate in your specific situation, and we can help you figure out projections and strategies here. But if
we look at over the next 3 years, right? And 3% appreciation would be a downturn, right? We're at much higher than 3% price appreciation right now. That is a conservative estimate. That's kind of a historical average on home prices. But if you were looking at a $700,000 house today and you waited 1, 2, or 3 years, this shows you what that cost of that house will be with 3% appreciation year over year, right? So $21,000 more next year, $42,000 more the following year, and almost $65,000 more in 3 years. So if you got to overpay by 10 or 15 or 20 grand today, is that worth it? Maybe, right? If you're going to be in the house for 10 years, it definitely will be worth it. And so this is just one aspect of it, because the next thing you got to look at, and all the experts agree on this, is where are interest rates going, right? And so we had one more slide here where you can look at your purchasing power based on an interest rate. And so we're using that same $700,000 number. If you look at the bottom left-hand side of that graph, so at today, at a 2.73% interest rate, you're looking at $2,900 a month in payment for a $700,000 house, right? If that interest rate goes up just 1% to 3.75 or 4%, now your monthly payment goes up about $400. So if you are stuck at, you can only afford a set monthly payment, over time, if interest rates rise, which most experts agree they will over the next year or two, your purchasing power goes down, right? You can afford less house. So instead of being able to afford, if you say I'm capping my ability to buy at $3,000 a month, you could lose $50,000-$60,000 in buying power over the next couple of years, in addition to the increase in cost of that home with appreciation. So it kind of compounds and puts you in a weaker position to buy later.
Okay, so look, so we're
a lot of math. I know it's kind of wonky, but
no, it's not wonky at all. Look, here's the part. No, it's not wonky. Well, folks, was Dylan too wonky? If it was too wonky, throw it in the comments and let's. I think it was pretty. It made sense. But folks, if you have some questions about that, throw it in. Look, let's forget about this whole price thing. And then in terms of prices, it's clear prices are not going to be dropping. It isn't like we're in a bubble and tomorrow, in a very, very short period of time, prices are going to come crashing down. That's not going to happen. At best, it'll be a cool down. It won't be a drop. Interest rates, looks like the Fed has said they're giving signals that they're going to be cranking up interest rates. That's not going to be around for a long time. So, the current rates are not going to be around. So prices are not going to be dropping now. So the only question now is, what tips do we have for people who are discouraged about today's market, right? They're going in, Scott, you had mentioned there's only like 400 listings on Oahu. There's like 300 listings on the Big Island that has like 1/10 the population of Oahu or something like that. So that's way out, right? It's way out. So, let's talk now about, let's shift. So what do you do, right? So what do you do? How do you, okay. And you want to buy. So how do you make this process work? Scott, why don't you start us off on this one? What do you tell someone that, okay, I get it, Scott, I've decided I'm going to buy, I'm going to pay what I'm going to pay. This is my price, etc. But man, the market's crazy. What do we do? What kind of things do I need to know to thrive and do well in today's kind of crazy market? I am going to buy. Now what?
Yeah, it's just an education in the process. Part of what our job is to give you the information so you can make the best decision. If I don't come in and give you examples and tell you stories, hey, we're up 22%. Okay, what does that mean? Right? I'm going to give you stories and explain to you, hey, okay, we're buying an Ocean Point. The last five clients I've worked with on the buy side, we've been competing between 10 and 15 offers, and we've been $75,000 over asking. I'm just throwing weird numbers out and just making stuff up. But I'm going to sit down and explain to you, this is what you should expect. Here's your situation. How do we try to get you into the best position possible? And it's just it's an information sharing process. And a lot of times what happens is people have to get rejected once or two times to go, oh, okay, light bulb goes off. Now I see what you're talking about. So it's working with someone who's been in the business for a long time, who knows how to position your contract in the right way, make you understand that market, get you comfortable with what's going on in the market, so it doesn't feel so just like a big shock and out of the norm, and slowly walk you through that process.
So here's what's come out of me and of all these discussions of all these, I thanks to you folks, I've become an educated enough to be dangerous a person, outsider in the market. But look, what I've caught from what you're saying is that I think sometimes we think that the buying process is somewhat mechanical, somewhat like the way you go buy a car or like something like that, or you go out and you walk into a store, or we're, because of COVID, we're used to kind of clicking on a button and saying buy, and buy and insert credit card, and something shows up on your doorstep a few days later. But what I've caught from you guys is saying that no, the buying process here requires, a kind of a good understanding from what's going on, but also you really have to kind of understand what things that you want, who's the seller, what kind of, as much as you can know about the seller and what do they want, how can you make your offer as appealing as possible? What sort of little tweaks do you kind of want to operate? Do you know everybody? What's the network like? Because it's not like buying something on Amazon. We get fooled, right? Because we think that we buy, it's like Amazon. Oh yeah, so there's Zillow, so I can kind of click on buy, right? And just kind of buy the house. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of human factors to it. Dylan, why don't you kind of, I think you guys have got some great stories on the human factors, because I think that's the key about this and people don't understand. And again, not to give us the pitch that, yes, you want to work with us as realtors. Well, I'm not a realtor, but Dylan and Scott are realtors, and we're not here. Obviously, we're here because we want you to buy from us, but it's not so much, buy from us. It's that you want to be with an expert who has done this before and understands the human factor. Dylan, can you give something? What's the best story you can come up with that pops in your head that illustrates the human factor that goes into closing a situation that you could kind of, that kind of makes the point of what we're trying to say here?
So I got a perfect example from this past week. So we had some clients that came to town. They understood the situation. We've been preparing them when they got here. And so there's two types of listings out there right now, basically. The ones that are grossly overpriced because somebody is shooting for the moon and they weren't advised well as a seller. And then there's the sellers who are pricing it properly at market value, or maybe even a little bit below, and letting buyers drive that price up and decide what is a maximum that they're going to pay. And so those, first, you got to evaluate, which house am I looking at here, right? Am I looking at one where somebody's shooting for the moon and is being unrealistic, or somebody who really wants to get this house sold and is going to give us a shot to make our best offer? And so, we focused on those homes, right? We separate those out. So you got to have somebody that understands the difference, can just at a glance look at those listings and say, well, this one's way out of the ballpark. We should focus on these. And so my brother took these folks out looking at homes, and they found one that they really liked. And it was one of those homes that was priced very fairly for the market right now. And he asked them a great question, right? He asked them before they wrote the offer, he said, I need to know, how bad, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want this house? And they were like, 10, it's 11. We want this house really bad. And he says, well, then this is what the offer has to be, right? And he told them exactly how much over asking price we had to go, all the terms that we had to specify in order to make it as strong as possible. And long story short, he beat out 10 other offers for that house. And so we got these folks under contract. So it can still be done. It can still be done, but you have to know what you're looking at. You have to know what you want, and you have to be committed, right? So if you're wishy-washy and you want to negotiate and you want to find a deal, you're going to have a really hard time. But are you totally have no chance in this market? Absolutely not. We're still putting a home or two under contract every single week, right? So that is not. I haven't lost hope. If you don't lose hope, we're not going to lose hope, right? And we're gonna continue to fight. Are we going to lose out once or twice? Absolutely. That's very likely in this market. We're not going to win every single time, but having somebody that knows the market and actually knows the other agents is super important, right? Because if there's 10 offers and 6 of them were licensed in the last 12 months and the seller's agent has never heard of them, they're going to focus on the agents that they know bring credible buyers that are going to help get that deal done to the end, going to be a partner in the process, going to do their side of the deal, and you're going to have a more competitive edge. And they may even give you some, you're not supposed to share terms, right? But there are agents out there that if they like you, they might give you some hints on what your offer needs to say or some things that you can do in order to make it stronger, to put you in a better position. So all stuff that you got to take into consideration.
All comes into consideration. Scott, give me a story. There was if I'm not mistaken, there was a member of the Islander Ohana. We're not going to reveal any names here, but there was a member of the Islander Ohana who recently bought a home on Oahu. I don't know if you want to share that story or not, but Scott, give me a story that kind of makes the case that, look, the market. Yes, the market is crazy. Yes, it's bonkers, but yes, homes are being bought and sold every day. That means, you've got to do something to set you aside from the crowd. Scott, give me a story.
Yeah, I've got two actually. One being the island or Ohana component. So we actually got into escrow after writing just two offers. The first one got rejected. The second one, we went in lower down. So we're $6,000 over asking, it's like 1% over the list price. Let's see, we're less down, smaller appraisal clause, and we weren't the highest price. And we got into first position on it. We were only competing on with three other people. So, I mean, and we got in because more or less the other two buyers.
That's the question. How did you get? That's the question I want. What makes you think that you got? What do you believe that got you in first position? Why did we get there?
Well, for one, I went with them. I had worked with the listing agent on a deal probably about six months ago. He knows my professionalism. He understands client care. How I educate people. And so when we're making an offer, it's a solid offer. It's a good decision for the buyer. So the relationship came into play there. That one of the buyers that came in higher hadn't even met their agent yet. They were trying to find their agent and offering a higher price. He had 6 sellers and they wanted it sold. They wanted someone solid. And he had worked with the lender that I worked with a lot as well, and knew we were both solid reputation, had worked with us before. So they took us at $15,000 lower than the highest offer, smaller appraisal clause, smaller down payment. So we got that one into escrow, and I got one into escrow in Waikiki the same way at $2,000 over asking when we were, somebody was $12,000 above us on the offer price on that. So and we were only competing with 3 offers on that too. So it's not completely bonkers all over. We're going to tell you there's great stories, but there's plenty of opportunities to get in at fair value and feel like you got something of value.
See, here's the here's the thing that comes, the common theme between both you guys is that relationships matter. They matter a lot in this industry. It's rather complicated from the entire buying process is rather complicated, and there's a lot of moving parts, and that means there's a lot of different people involved. And so there's trust, there's networking, there's who I prefer to work with. It's who's going to make the right kind of offer that makes sense, and do we know each other? Do we trust each other? Because we're going to go down. Closing escrow is a fraught with problems, and who am I going to go down this path with? That matters.
And strategy matters, right? I mean, that's one thing that we have to always look at is really look at all of our options, because sometimes as a buyer, you say, oh, I'll just put 20% down and finance the rest. When if you have 50% down, maybe, or even if you have all cash, right? Maybe that's not your original plan, but you can always refi a house in 6 months, or you can pull cash out, in a home equity line, or maybe you have other properties elsewhere that you have a home equity line. So as a buyer, that's one of the things you want to have a discussion with your agent about is, what is your total financial situation and how can you put yourself in the best position possible to write the strongest offer? Because as Scott was saying, it's not always about price. Sometimes it's about terms, right? Because I get this as a listing agent all the time. I get the $100,000 over asking price with 2% down. That's a joke. Like, if the appraisal comes in low, you're showing me you have no cash. Like, we're not even gonna look at that because you're just taking a shot in the dark as a buyer. So those are the kind of things where if you get another offer where they got 50% down, the terms are really good, maybe they're waiving some contingencies for the seller, we're going to look more seriously at that offer than we're going to look at this offer where clearly they have no money and they're trying to just have the highest price and win, which a smart listing agent is going to look at that and have a lot of suspicion. So it's not always about price. You don't necessarily always have to go crazy over asking price if you're in a position to write a really strong, well put together offer.
Excellent. Great. So I think we've kind of got this one down. Is there anything on this topic that we've missed that we want to share with people? About it's a crazy market, but there is a way through this. You can get through it. Once you've understood and once you've decided that the market's not going to come crashing down anytime soon, so you're either going to kind of get with it and buy something or not. But once you decide to buy, you're going to go through this process. You want to work with someone who's got experience and got relationships, because that's what's going to get you in, who could think strategy, who can educate you on what you need to know to make the best possible offers. Anything else you guys want to share that people ought to know? And gang, I've got a lot of your questions here from previous ones. I've not forgot them all. They're all in my list. But if there's anything new you guys want to ask about this topic, throw it in now before we move on, because I want to go back. I want to follow through your questions and get some stuff done. Is there anything else? First of all, Dylan or Scott, anything you guys want to add to what we've been saying so far?
Scott, if you got something, go ahead. If not, let's get to the questions, because you could talk all day.
No, I do.
I know, right? I know.
But I think there's an important thing here, which is, a lot of times people go, "Hey, man, this is too busy of a market. I'm going to wait." What are you waiting for? Our price is going to come down. And you got to look back at what partly fueled this. So, when interest rates dropped right at the beginning of COVID, they dropped from like 4% to 2.75. That was the equivalent. In order to keep, if you were to buy pre-COVID and post-COVID at the same mortgage payment, which 95+% of people buy on a mortgage payment.
That's what we're looking at here, right? With these rates, this rate chart kind of shows all that, right?
Yeah, I more or less equate buying a house for most people to having a Netflix account. You pay a monthly subscription fee. You just happen to do it for 30 years, and you lock in your monthly subscription fee to today's cost of living, and you pay that same Netflix account, payment for 30 years. Well, if you were to buy pre-COVID at, that 4.25% or 4% interest rate, and then things dropped afterwards, during COVID, they dropped to 2.75%. All of a sudden, your affordability and your buying power just went way up. In order for you to have to basically pay the same monthly payment, you would have had to have spent 17% more on that house price with the drop in the interest rate. So in other words, you just got the biggest deal, the biggest price discount you could have. Well, we're up 22% on housing right now. So how much of a premium are people really paying right now? 5%? Less than 5%? So, okay, what happens if interest rates go up? Let's say they go up from 3% to 4%, because they're right around 3% right now. What is that going to do to the to your monthly payment? Prices, how much would prices have to drop to keep that same monthly payment if interest rates went up 1%? It's 10%. So if you bought $1 million home, the price has to go down to $900,000. During the 2008 to 2009 downturn, it took 2 years for Oahu to drop 11%. And that was during one of the worst times ever. So let's say prices go down, how much are they going to go down?
Yeah,
how much are they going to go down? And if they do, they're because the interest rates go up, and your monthly payment's going to be more expensive anyway.
Look, let's not further the discussion about will prices go down. Ain't gonna happen. I'm just kind of thinking, okay, now that we've and you got to make your own decision as far as if you're going to buy or not. But don't make the decision based on you thinking that prices are going to come back down. That's not going to happen. That's a loser's game. The only question is there anything else you guys want to talk about and add in terms of, okay, now that I've decided, now that I've realized, is there anything else you guys want to share? To me, it's all about those relationships.
Well, let's show that last slide to illustrate what you pay over 30 years on top of the cost if you do wait and the interest rates go up 1%. So I'm okay. I'm going to show it, but I don't want to show it because we don't need to show it because this is a no-brainer. Oh wait, what happened over here? I think this thing got. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Technical difficulty. Okay, there we go. There you go. So if you buy at a 1% higher interest rate, so if you wait a year and the interest rates go up 1 year, it's roughly a $500 a month increase in your mortgage payment. But over 30 years, it's going to cost you $180,000 more, right? So is it better to pay 20 grand extra for the house now or $180,000 over the life of that loan? And so there's all kinds of ways where it costs you the money to wait, right? So all things you want to factor in and take into account.
It's like, forget the weight issue. We've beat that horse. That horse is dead. That is a dead horse. We are beating a dead horse. Any of you that are watching right now, does anybody really believe that the prices are going to come significantly down? Does anyone believe that? If you do, kind of say it. So that's that. So that's the question I'm going to put out to everybody. To you, if you do, say it. But if you don't worry about it. So let's we got a lot of questions that popped in. So let's kind of hit these because they're all kind of good. And let me go back over here and kind of start where we need to kind of hit this. Okay. So quick one, the Zell with the hotels full capacity. We'll see what's going to happen, Zell. It's going to be a crazy market. Gil says, I see new build constructions in Eva Beach and Coral Ridge. What can you tell me about these neighborhoods and which is better? Scott, really, really fast. Can you kind of give a quick thing on Coral Ridge and Eva Beach to Gil?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on where you want to be. Eva Beach is going to be a little more affordable. You got Makamai and Eva by Gentry. You got Ho'opili down there, which is large master plan. And Coral Ridge is just a different area that's going to take a while to build that out. It comes to personal preference. The commute's going to be a little easier if you're driving into town from Coral Ridge than it would be from Makamai, from down in Eva or Ho'opili. But Ho'opili is going to be really neat next over by the mall, and that's 30,000 homes over how many years? I mean, it's going to take a while to build out that neighborhood. So there's going to be, it's a bigger project. So it's going to be under construction for a while.
So Gil, the answer is that there's a little bit of both. It all depends on a bunch of issues. They're in two separate places. There's going to be price variances. There's some that are plus or minus for each. Scott gave a great overview. You want to make sure you get a hold of us. There's a link in the description, Gil. Click on that link and get on the list because that's going to be the key. Jason was spot on. Good point. All the stuff that we all talked about. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Really appreciate that. This is the stuff that got that Dylan, that you were worried about getting wonky over. All those percentages, all those rates. Those were great. Yeah. See, and Christopher agrees. You weren't wonky at all. Explained it very, very well. Auntie Joy says, what's the impact of interest rates on home prices then? Well, it's going to basically give downward pressure on home prices, right? It's going to give a downward pressure on home prices. That means it's going to slow the increase, right? It ain't going to drop the prices, but the prices possibly won't keep skyrocketing at the rate that they will. And guys, am I wrong about that? Anyone want to kind of throw on that?
So that big table illustrates this, right? So if prices go down, but interest rates go up, your monthly payment stays the same, right? So at the end of the day, the cost to you as the consumer doesn't change. So if you look at that, the highlighted diagonal line there. So if you buy at 2.7 at 700,000, your payment's 2,800. But if it goes up to 3.7, you can only afford a $630,000 house at the same monthly payment, right? So even if the prices drop 10% and the interest rate went up 1%, you would still only be able to afford the same monthly payment of $2,900. So that's the thing. Even if prices go down, if rates go up, the net to the consumer, there's no change. Basically, you don't save any money.
Yeah. All right. Let's get the next one here. Gil, when was the last time that the housing market in Oahu actually went down? For how much and for how long? Scott, that's got to be back with the Japanese bubble, wasn't it? Or maybe the 2008. So what happened?
2008. Was 2008 and 2009 totaled 11% for Oahu Island.
Okay.
Price drops.
Thank you, Scott. 2008, 2009, Gil, that was like, the big gigantic crash when like some parts of the mainland just like died. Here, we lost 10%. The worst time. Right. Go, Dylan.
Here's an important perspective about that too, though, is that people associate that housing bubble with that recession, right? They happened at the same time. They made each other worse, but recessions don't necessarily lead to lower real estate prices. So if you look at the last 50 years, the American economy in the last 50 years, we've had a recession about every 10 years. And if you look, I have a great graph we can maybe show us the next show, but if you look at the real estate housing prices, they steadily go up, and then when there's a recession, they top off, and then the recession ends and they continue to go up, right? So the only time the housing prices went down was really 2008. So even the Japanese bubble time, the real estate prices tapered off and plateaued, but they didn't go down. And then once we came out of the recession, they continued to go up. So you can't associate a recession, an economic recession, with a reduction in real estate prices.
And that real estate, that was a genuine real estate bubble. But I mean, here's the part about that 2008 and 9. My sort of characterization of that is, Hawaii real estate is if you look at Hawaii real estate, it's almost like a straight, if you back up far enough, it's like a straight line up. It's just a straight line, practically. And, and my line about that is Hawaii doesn't really have too many parties where it takes in, where the prices like go, crazy. So because we don't show up for the party, we don't get the hangover. 2008 and 9 was like a hangover, a wild drunken party hangover that we got smashed on. Didn't happen in Hawaii, so we only lost a small amount, 10% in the worst possible time. So, Gil, hope that answers your question. Zell, Zell confirms that. Thank you, Zell. Last time was generally the crash was 08. Even then, it didn't drop to extremes like the mainland. Exactly, the mainland crashed. Hawaii did not crash. Charles, yeah, right, exactly. Best time to buy was yesterday. That's that's a great line. Or the best time to buy is right now. Kevin kicks in. People need to be patient but not give up. And Kevin, here you go. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate the stories here. I passed on a couple of offers made with Dylan's excellent help. Lost both of them, lol, but have been persuaded out of a couple by Dylan. So this is the thing. Sounds like Kevin's got a thing with you, Dylan, which is what it's all about: patience but persistence. Excellent. So, Victor,
that's another thing you need a good advisor on. Is I will not let you pay stupid on a house. Like, I will tell you, like, this is stupid. Like, if you want us to write the offer, I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna tell you you're being stupid if we're gonna do this, So I'll be honest with you and not get you into something, not get you into trouble. So don't pay stupid. Pay stupid. There's paying smart and there's paying stupid.
Paying smart, paying stupid. And welcome, Victor. Good seeing you. Glad to be here. And Judy agrees. Judy, who is a member of the Honor Ohana, and Judy, who's been working with Dylan for a Big On Home. Yeah, thank you, Judy.
We're almost closed. We're almost
there. Almost there, Judy. Almost there. Bernice, no, but I do believe interest rates change all the time. Yes, they do change all the time. They tweak, and that does affect the prices, but it's not going to have a significant effect on prices going down. That's the key. It may, interest rates going up may slow the prices going, may put a little bit of a brake on the prices going up, but the prices ain't going down. Jim and Kath, prices stabilize. Yes, go down. Nope. Exactly. Thank you. This is great. You guys are right. Precisely. Exactly. Did I hear that Maui might try to mandate a surcharge for visiting up to 400? Victor, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's all kinds of, people are kind of getting crazy. There's some things about, paying for, they may be charging for parking. They may be, I saw a story, too bad that Heidi isn't here from Maui. There was a story about they may be doing a toll to go to Hana Maui. We'll see what's going to happen. It's not been put in law yet. There's all kinds of stuff going on, but talk is one thing, passing actual legislation and law is another. We will see. Does volcano activity on the Big On affect housing prices? Dylan, does volcano activity affect housing prices?
So the most recent example, the short answer is no. The most recent example we have is 2018 when we had a crazy massive flow. What it did do was it slowed down the volume of sales. So not as many homes sold, but the prices didn't come down. And then people quickly realized that there was no threat to the island and it wasn't something to be worried about. And then, 2 months later, just bounced right back. So no.
Same old story with Hawaii, right?
It affects prices. If it affects prices in Lower Puna, if you're in the lava flow.
Yeah, if your house is about to get run over by lava, it's going to affect its price big time. Yeah,
but 99% of the island it did not.
Yeah, and that's the continued story to Hawaii. We may have a leveling off of prices, but things don't. Again, the worst thing was 08. 0811. Hey, Megan, welcome. Megan is a member of the Islander Ohana, and Megan is on Maui. She made the move. Congratulations, Megan. It's a lovely morning here on Maui. Maui no ka. That's why they say Maui no ka oi, Megan. Glad to see you. Good to see you too. So glad that you're with us. Megan's got a great success story. And Gil, is there any hope for me to find townhomes move-in condition in the 5 to 600K with 3-bedroom, 2-bath? Scott, what do you say to Gil, who's looking for a townhome? 3.2, 5 to 600K.
Easy. Yep.
Easy. Okay, Gil, get on the list, buddy. Click on the link in the description. Get a hold of Scott. You want to work with someone who knows what they're doing, and we'll set you up. Joyce, Maui, can they do what they want as long as Maui can do what they want as long as it's not discriminatory? Well, we're going to find out. It depends what discriminatory means, Joyce, right? It depends what we mean by discriminatory. I'm a discriminating buyer in terms of the Aloha shirt I'm looking for. I'm very, very discriminating, right? I discriminate highly when I look for the right Aloha shirt. I got to have the right kind of cotton, got to have the right kind of color. I'm a discriminating buyer, but I don't discriminate based on race.
Hey, Scott, I don't know if you can, if it'll, or Peter, if it'll refresh, but I just dropped that slide into the slide deck after the last interest rate slide, the U.S. housing prices slide. I don't know if you can see that and show that.
Let me see if I could. I don't. Let me kind of. Okay, I'll do a technical refresh and see if I can get this one.
This is how fast, this is how high speed we are with technology right here.
That's right, man. This is what we do here because we're sitting on Google, man, and
real time updates.
Real time updates. Let me see if I got. Okay, so just because you did it, I'm going to do it because we got to do it to show it. So yes, okay, here it is. So thank you, Dylan.
Graphs. I love graphs and data. Sorry.
The magic of technology. This is the magic of technology. Go ahead, Dylan. Dylan. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is showing the squiggly line is U.S. housing prices, and then all of the shaded vertical lines are the recessions in the last 50 years, right? So if you watch that blue line, it continues to go up. The only time it came down was in 2007, right, in the Great Recession, and that was the biggest. It's the widest shaded column we see there. But then it's continued to go up after that. So this just kind of illustrates that you cannot associate economic recessions with the reduction in housing prices.
Okay, so no good deed goes unpunished. So now I want to see a graph that overlays that with Hawaii's drop in real estate prices. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, good. All set. So Zell, hope to not any more taxes on tourists or extra charges. There's already a 10% occupancy tax on short-term stays. Zell, we love Hawaii. That's why we spent our life in Hawaii. But Hawaii is one of these states that there's not a tax that they don't love. Taxes are loved, and the residents are. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care when taxes go up. We don't do anything about it. So when we don't care because we want to live in paradise no matter what, so we don't care. And so if we don't care and they want more revenue and they want taxes going up. So Zell, I would not bet against taxes going down. I would not bet on taxes going down. I would also not bet on taxes not going up. I think it's going to go up.
And you got to understand that the transit accommodation tax is a tax on visitors when they stay at a short-term accommodation, right? You're not here all year paying income tax or our normal general excise tax. So that's really targeted at, the whole point is to target at visitors to pay a share of most of our infrastructure, right? Like 30% of the people on the island at any given time are visitors. And so they're going to use our roads, our beaches, our parks, all that stuff. And that's what that TAT is there for, is to pay for that stuff.
And look, so let me speak selfishly for a minute and put my econ hat on. And if I'm a Hawaii taxpayer, who would I rather prefer pay taxes? Would I rather have me pay taxes, or would I rather have somebody else like the visitors pay taxes? You know what? I want the visitors to pay taxes. I'd rather have my income taxes go down and your accommodations taxes go up. Sorry, Zell, don't mean to sound cruel, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of the economic fundamentals behind it. And actually what's going on culturally, Scott and Dylan, you guys know this, culturally what's going on since COVID has struck, and now that visitors are coming back, is the local folks are like, boy, it sure was nice when there was no visitors here. Do we really have to have these visitors here? Does this have to be here? And I got to tell you, Dylan, we've talked about this almost every single week about rental cars renting for $300 a day, and the fact that here's a big one. The fact that rental cars are going for $300 a day means, by definition, that they're renting for $300 a day. Who in their right mind is going to rent a car for $300 a day? Well, visitors are. You know what that tells me? That tells me they could afford to pay $300 a day. That's what it tells me. So you know what that tells me? It tells me that our whole visitor industry is way underpriced. It's way underpriced, and prices need to go up. That's horrible. Horrible and evil. It's horrible and evil, but it's economics. It's not me. It's economics. People are paying $300 a day for a car.
We're just proving to the rental car companies that they've been underpricing their cars for years right now.
Underpriced their cars for years. Way underpriced their cars for years. Way underpriced. So there you go. Gil, Gil's happy. Gil's happy. Yes, thanks, Gil. Get on the list, and we'll take care of you. You'll hook up with Scott. Scott's the man. Scott is the man. And Jim David, California taxes of all kinds are still higher. Exactly. Costco gas is higher next to refinery on mainland. Costco gas is higher next to refinery on mainland than in Kona. Yeah, Jim. California is one of those great states that there's not a tax that they don't love, and that's just the way it works. Sad, but we keep speaking for Hawaii, we keep voting people who raise our taxes, and that means that's what we want. So there you go. It's democracy, folks. Right, Dylan? To your point, you exactly meet your expectations, right? We vote exactly. What's that line that you've got?
One of my favorite lines is Benjamin Franklin said, "You get the government you deserve."
That's it, and it's the one that we want. This is what
Yep.
we want. Also interesting is the markets in the mortgage crisis hit. A desirable area is a desirable area. Bay Area, Seattle, Portland, LA, New York City, Hawaii, values barely budge. Yeah, supply and demand. That's it. That is exactly right. Michael, thank you, Mike, for welcome back, buddy. Yep, underpriced. New AC in Wailea, $600 a night, and it's not even oceanfront. Yeah, underpriced. We have to pay more. Gas price in California, $3.99 to $4.50. Bernice, yeah, thanks, Bernice, for sharing that. I think we're kind of getting there. I mean, I haven't bought gas in a while because I don't go anywhere now. But my wife last told me there was $4 a gallon here, so we're right around there. Great. So hey, look, we got a question I want to hit here. We're almost out of time, but I want to hit this because Tom is here. Tom, I hope you are still here. I've got your question. I'm going to bring it up on screen really quick. I think it's slide 22. Let me kind of verify. Yes, slide 22. Hold on a second here for slide 22. I want to show. So Tom was cool enough to kind of bring us a question. I want to hit it real fast. I think it's an easy one. Tom is asking about settlements in Hawaii, settlements versus escrow. So Tom says, I don't think I recall a show where you, Scott, Dylan, and Heidi discuss real estate settlements in Hawaii. By settlements, I believe you mean what we call the escrow process, the closing process. Are they the same as the mainland? Are there any differences, surprises? And what is the time frame from under contract to settlement? Are lenders and settlement agents backed up in Hawaii as they are in the mainland? Are settlements running 30 days, 30, 60, 90, or longer under contract? Mahalo. Thanks, Tom. This is kind of a in the weeds kind of a real estate market question, but I think Tom is when he says, well, fill me in here. Settlements means escrow. What does it mean? Who wants to take this one first?
Well, this is an important factor in your planning if you're going to buy in Hawaii is the timeline. And in this market, in normal times, you could do a 30-day close on a cash transaction. 45-day close if you're doing financing. In today's market, plan on 45 to 60 days minimum. Many escrow companies are not even taking 30-day closings. They ask you for an amendment to the contract before they'll open escrow, ask you to take it somewhere else. And the Big Island anyway, it's super busy on the Big Island. So yes, it's slower than it is in normal times, mainly because every vendor that's out there is way overbooked, right? Termite inspectors are way overbooked. Home inspectors are overbooked. Appraisals are taking really long. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get the appraiser out there and another week to 10 days to get the report back. So that can burn up 2 or 3 weeks in and of itself is just the appraisal, if not longer. So yes, things are backlogged, definitely. Mainly because we've had a doubling in the number of transactions, and all of these companies they don't double their staff overnight to take on the increased volume. So plan on delays. Very few transactions are closing exactly on time for many different reasons, not just escrow, but escrow can be one of them, but can be one of the many other vendors that are involved along the way. Surveyors are another one that are way backed up.
So just to clarify, I think when Tom is using the term settlements, what that translates to in Hawaii is escrow, right? I think is that the okay? So settlements, you call them settlements on the mainland. We call them escrow or the closing process here. And
the process is different. I mean, we could do a whole big segment on this, right? Is many
Not
states
today.
You have attorneys involved and other things. It's a very different process
Right.
than it is here.
Very different. Scott, is there anything you want to add here to address Tom's question?
I got 2 closings or 2 escrows. We're doing 30-day closings with financing right now. I'm not having a problem with it. I am doing a condo tel right now where we're having to do, because it's a portfolio bank-owned loan, we're having to do a 60-day closing with a 15-day automatic right to extend because the local banks are super slow. But the only difference here that people need to be aware of is when you go to close, when you go to sign your mortgage documents and bring your money in, you're actually doing it about 3 days prior to closing. Then escrow gets, the lender will fund the next day. Then escrow will hold on to the documents to sit there, send them down to the Bureau of Conveyances, and then to sit there basically until the next morning to record. So once you sign here, there's like 3 days of us just sitting around, not doing anything, anticlimactic, waiting for a phone call to close. So that's one thing to be aware of.
Great. Thanks, guys. Hey, listen, folks, we're going to wrap this up. We're running late a little bit. It's 2 minutes after the hour, and I really like to close things on time. So if you folks have any final questions, we got a couple of shout outs over here. So Sherman from Gladstone, Aloha from Tennessee. Welcome, Sherman. Great to have you here. Paul Rabena, welcome back, Paul. Aloha, guys. Missed your last few shows. Yeah, but good to see you again, Paul. Still coming over there, though. So, Paul, make sure, are you going to Big Island or Oahu? Maui, make sure you connect with us so I can connect you in with Scott or Dylan or Heidi. Tom, if you could do part of a show as Dylan suggested, that would be great. Yeah, Tom, I might, but that might make people's eyes, go in back of their sockets. But we do have, Tom, you should, if you haven't yet, Tom, I want you to sign up and be a part of the Islander Ohana, because we have created a real estate class on the Islander Ohana that goes into like gory detail about all of these things, and this is one of them. So get on the Islander Ohana. Gil, love the show, first time listening, awesome, learned a lot, looking forward to the next one. Thanks, guys. Gil, and by the way, Gil, you can also go through like previous shows. There's like a boatload of them. We have a Hawaii real estate channel, and I've broken up the questions. There's like a zillion things to search for, like more content than you could like consume in a week. Easy. Pam's happy. Great info. Mahalo. Yeah, great. Thank you, Pam. Really appreciate this. And Megan, plug for the Islander Ohana, worth every penny. Thank you, Megan. God bless you. That was unplanned. So Megan was a member. Megan is a member of the Islander Ohana. This is a paid group. It's for people who are serious about Hawaii. And look, Jessica, another member of the Islander. All right, Jess is working with Scott. Jess and Wes just moved to Oahu as well. Actually, we're gonna have, this is secret, so we're going to have an Islander meetup. That's all I can say. There's going to be an Islander Ohana meetup. I'm not going to say when or where, because it's secret. It's for the Islander Ohana folks that have really made a commitment for Hawaii. I can't wait to see you guys. It's going to be a great weekend. Patrick, aloha from Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome back. And Jason Sims, are there openings for the Ohana? Yes, Jason. We are going to have, we're taking a break over the summer, but there is going to be, make sure you're on the mailing list. If you get the emails, we're going to have the next cohort is going to start in September. So you definitely want to be a part of that. Judy, awesome. God bless you, Judy. Islander Ohana is amazing. It's been a lot of fun. And I don't want to talk about more about it. It's 10:04. We're way over time. It's been a fabulous show. Let's say our goodbyes, folks. We're great having you here. Thank you so much. Have a great one. Let's go to Dylan and then Scott, and we'll wrap it all up.
Hello, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
All right, folks. Love you all. Have a great one. Tom, mahalo as always. Tom, and mahalo back to you. And Jason, yeah, buddy, welcome back. Thank you. And folks, it's been a great show. Wonderful time. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Scott, from the Big Island from Oahu. Aloha.